So what is Final Fight? Was anyone else traumatized by this? Jesus Christ. Capcom and beat-em-ups were almost synonymous in arcades in the late 80s and 90s. So many good games were released under the Capcom umbrella that stood side by side with Konami games taking all the kids' quarters for years on end. Knights of the Round, The Punisher, Cadillac and Dinosaurs, the Dungeons & Dragons games, Avengers, not those ones, Alien vs Predator, and most famously, the Final Fight franchise. Final Fight was first released in arcades in 1989 and was originally given the working title of Street Fighter 89. Yes, it was originally made as an original Street Fighter sequel before going off in its own direction. Even set the star Ryu and Ken before deciding to change course. Though that hasn't stopped Final Fight characters from making appearances in mainline Street Fighter canon. Set in the crime-riddled city known as Gotham, Metro City, new mayor Mike Hagar decides not to take bribes from the local church youth group called the Mad Gear Gang, and in response, they decide to borrow his daughter Jessica for a little bit. Well, joke's on them, the new mayor is a former wrestler built like Prime Arnie, and he intends to literally beat crime off the streets with his own two hands. Coming with him is Cody, a local street fighter who happens to be Jessica's boyfriend, and Guy, a local ninja. Okay, whatever you say. These three warriors must beat up the city's underworld one level at a time, beating up random dudes, punk rocker chicks, pro wrestlers, and Mad Gear maniacs until you make it to the leader, the rich businessman, Belgor, who's in a wheelchair, or office chair for the squeamish Americans, and trying to murder you with a crossbow. Naturally, your party doesn't respect the rights of the handy-capable, so you beat him up too, and toss him out the window to his doom. Jessica and Hagar reconciliate, Cody goes and tries to act too good for this shit, and Guy is here too, I guess. You and another player can choose 2 out of the 3 characters and go through the 6 available levels, beating up jobbers, picking up items for points, health restoration, or best of all, violence. You go from screen to screen, clearing out enemies in the name of justice till you make it to the boss, who are all different levels of crazy. You get local gangsters, killer weeaboos, crooked cops, packed militants, balding ultimate warrior, and of course, gun-toting old wheelchair-bound men. You can move in 8 directions around the screen, can punch with one button and jump with the other. You can jump and attack, get close and throw people around, or if you're really desperate, hit both buttons at the same time for a desperation attack that clears everything around you for a tiny bit of health. The 3 characters are differentiated by each one's specialty. Guy is the fastest, and while his fists are like pillows, he can jump off of certain walls. Hagar is the strongest of the 3 and can put his wrestling moves to good use, but he's as slow as a sloth. And Cody is smack dab in the middle of both of them, and can also cut a bitch with a knife instead of throwing it like the other characters. The game itself is a lot of fun, and hard at that. If you plan on beating this in the arcade, you better be ready to lay down some serious coin. Or just wait for the home console ports to come out. Finally, in 1990, or 1991 for all us dirty Yanks, Final Fight was released on the Super Nintendo. And now you and a friend can play all the Final Fight you could. Wait, no 2-player? Yeah, in order to make the jump to home console, a few concessions had to be made. First one is said before, no 2 players, so your friend has to wait a little longer to play while you get a turn. Next up on the removal list, there's only 2 playable characters in the game. Guy absolutely cannot be selected, he's just Thanos snapped out of existence. Thanos didn't just take him, however. Poison and Roxy, the 2 lady enemies of the game, have also been pulled, replaced with their Poundland Flippy equivalent, Billy and Sid. Cause Capcom USA weren't keen on having your heroes beat down on the lady folk. Well, they took out all of this, so the rest of the game is spared, right? Nah, an entire stage got as well. The industrial zone, in fact, which means the boss of the stage, Rolento, is also gone. All in the name of getting this arcade Chad on the Virgin Super Nintendo. Capcom USA in particular were so concerned for the wimpy West that some enemy names had to be changed. References to alcohol also had to be changed, And even the one solitary voice acted line of the game during the bonus vandalism stage had to be changed.
Oh my god.
But even then, the port is still worth playing. Yeah, there's some clunkiness on top of everything I've explained before, like the transition between scenes being taken out of the Super Nintendo version, again for memory's sake. You're also being held to a lives continue limit, which causes you to see the horrifying screen where your character tries to escape a live bomb before the timer hits 0 and they explode. Ah! And without 2 players and unlimited continues due to being Richie Rich, the game is fucking hard. And there's no way to adjust the difficulty. The only thing on the title screen is game start, so playing this game on stream led me to find out that there is an option screen. You have to hit both L and R and start and select buttons at the same time, and bam, there you go. Why couldn't this have been a simple menu option instead of behind a secret input combination? What the hell, Capcom? But after all that, it's still Final Fight. Just a slightly stripped down version. It's worth playing if you can't play the arcade version. And better yet, if you wanted to play as Guy. Years later, they released an updated game called Final Fight Guy, where they improved the experience by finally including Guy, giving you 2 characters to play with. Again, this game gets 3 guys out of 5.